Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's going on? As you can see by the title, I know everybody by now has come across the reports. I posted in the community as soon as I got wind of it. Shout out to the homies, you know what I'm saying, in my group chat, man. You know, a couple of the homies, man, they posted this and alerted me that Terence Crawford has reportedly signed to fight David Avanesian on December 10th. Not Errol Spence, but David Avanesian. I looked this guy's box rec up. He was knocked out by Mean Machine. The same guy who dropped Terence Crawford, who Terence Crawford ultimately stopped. This guy also lost to Lamont Peterson. Has a total of 3 losses. There's somebody else that he lost against as well. He was scheduled to fight this other guy in November, but I guess Terence Crawford swooped in and presented an offer to him that he couldn't refuse, and now he's gonna be fighting Terence Crawford instead on December 10th. That's what's being reported, but it makes sense because it don't make no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. However, the reports are believable because Errol Spence just recently broke his silence on the fact that Terence Crawford and his team have been stalling the fight for months. Playing with the fans, toying with the fans, dangling the fight over the fans' heads and pretending like they really want to make the fight with whole time. They had plans to fight, I guess this is a tune-up. Best case scenario, it's a tune-up. We don't even know if after this fight, if Terence Crawford actually will fight Errol Spence. So best case scenario, it is a tune-up. Terence Crawford hadn't fought all year. This will be his first fight of the year. The last month of the year. He hadn't fought since November of 2021. I think that Terence Crawford team had reservations about, number one, they had reservations about fighting Errol Spence, period, because they know what Errol Spence would do to him. They know what Errol Spence could possibly do to Terence Crawford. They understand that there could be career-ending or career-altering, maybe even life-altering injuries inflicted on Terence Crawford by going 12 rounds or less with Errol Spence. They know that. They also know that putting Terence Crawford in the ring after not having a fight in over a year with a fresh Errol Spence who's in shape, who is coming off of one of the biggest fights and victories of his career by stopping Yordenis Ugas, might I add, a guy who never been stopped before, in a unification match, coming off of a 17-month layoff, looking phenomenal in the second half of that fight. has a lot of momentum going on, a lot of confidence, stopped the guy for the first time in a few fights. Did something that they said that he couldn't do. Errol Spence don't get stoppages no more. All of a sudden, you go 3 fights and without getting stoppages. You had the Mikey Garcia fight, the Danny Garcia fight, the Sean Porter fight, and you don't get stoppages. All of a sudden, you can't get no stoppage. It's 3 fights, guys. 3 fights. You go 3 fights. All those dudes at that time never been stopped before. You go 3 fights, and they say you can't get no stoppages. 3 fights. Versus top tier competition. Guys who never been stopped before. They say you can't get no stoppages. So he stopped Yordenis Ugas, another guy who had never been stopped before. And they seen that shit. They seen Errol Spence get that man a beat down of a lifetime. The beat down of the century. You know, another broken orbital bone. And they seen that shit. So they like, man, we not finna put this Terence Crawford, 35 years old, haven't fought in a year. We not finna put him in the gauntlet like that. We not finna put that man in that type of situation. But it's just sad, man. It's sad. Terence Crawford evades Errol Spence. Cleverly. Strategically. Dips out of the situation unscathed, and then put in a little report, you know, talking about, you know, yeah, he tried to make the fight with Errol Spence, and then saying, you know, the plan is still after I beat David Avenesian, I'm still gonna whoop Errol Spence ass. So many empty promises, man. So much. It's like, bruh, I don't even know. Like, I respect Terence Crawford, man. I respect his game. I respect his skills. Again, I don't know how many times I got to say this. I think the guy is an incredible fighter. But is the energy just been different ever since Errol Spence put elbows and kneecaps on Yordenis Ugas and put that demolition down? Terence Crawford and his team been moving real flaky. That menacing energy has disappeared. Terence Crawford been moving real funny. He been moving real funny style. Acting all nervous in videos and shit and interviews, acting all nervous and friendly. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's just been different. Errol Spence said, after I get this 3rd belt, we gonna see who holding up the fight. Errol Spence ain't even mentioned, ain't talked about, ain't even flirted with the idea of fighting nobody else outside of Terence Crawford ever since he put hands, feet, ankles, and kneecaps on Yordenis Ugas. Whole time you got Terence Crawford talking about he want to fight Jermell Charlo, he fight David Avenesian. You know what I'm saying? You got all these guys, you know, he running around telling reporters and YouTubers that, you know, he done agreed to everything. How you agreed to everything? How you agreed to everything when there's been multiple revisions of contracts sent to you and your team and y'all ain't accepted nothing? I thought you agreed to everything. If you agreed to everything, why the hell you fighting David Avenesian? This shit sad, man. This shit sad. Now, granted, best case scenario, this is just a tune-up for a fight that happens first quarter of 2023. That's best case scenario. If this fight ain't solidified, if there isn't a date by March, like if the fight ain't happening in March or sooner, Errol Spence need to go ahead and move up. Don't even waste your time with Terence Crawford no more, bruh. Because he gonna have your ass at 147 for one fight too long, and it ain't gonna end well. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I really can't say that I'm surprised with the way Terence Crawford and his team been moving lately. I really can't say that I'm surprised. I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed in you, brother. I'm disappointed. I thought you had, man, I thought that energy was different, man. I thought Terence Crawford and them really wanted to smoke. I thought they was really about that shit. I thought when Errol Spence got up on that mic and he told them boys, he said, hey, I want Terence Crawford next. That's the fight that everybody else want. That's the fight that I want. And I told y'all, after I get these belts, I'm going to come over there and take his shit too. When he did that, I just knew Terence Crawford was finna welcome the fight with open arms. Yeah, I seen the footage of Terence Crawford watching that. He was at the crib, on the couch, watching Errol Spence say that shit. He seen what the fuck happened. He had a little sneaky smile on his face like yeah, oh no, shit. I might have to slide up out of that one. You know what I'm saying? Like he had a little sneaky smile on his face and that all makes sense. Like, you better catch me. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, you better get me before you know what I'm saying? Like, on some sneaky shit. Like he really had no intentions. I just knew though when I heard Errol Spence talking like that, based off of Terence Crawford's past energy, I just knew he was gonna welcome the fight with open arms. But when I seen that sneaky smile on his face when they put the camera on him while Errol Spence was on the TV talking cash shit to him, I should have knew right then and there. He had this little cheesy smile on his face like, he talking about me? Like he trying to duck out the camera and shit. Bro, this shit crazy, dog. This shit crazy, bro. Boxing, that's the one thing about boxing, bro. Ain't no structure. You can't hold these guys accountable. In the NFL, when this team win the NFC and this team win the AFC, them motherfuckers got to play for the Super Bowl. Ain't no way around it. You got to play. The two best teams, they got to play. You go through the playoffs and you get the best team out the NFC and the best team out the AFC and they play for the Super Bowl. In boxing, motherfuckers just do whatever they want to do, man. Ain't no structure. That's the biggest hang up, and it's a major one. But that's the biggest hang up in the sport of boxing. The biggest hang up. The one thing that really hold this sport back from being all that it can be. Boxing is a beautiful sport. Just the craft in and of itself, the talent and the amazing ability of these fighters, the excitement, the passion. You know what I'm saying? The roller coaster ride throughout a fight, the momentum changing, the emotion. Boxing is a beautiful sport in and of itself when you take the politics out. Imagine if a sport like this had structure. Imagine if motherfuckers had to be held accountable and they had to abide by their responsibilities and they actually wanted to fight the best immediately, like whenever the shit was available. When you work your way up to this spot, y'all gotta fight so we can see who really the best. This supposed to be the Super Bowl. It's undisputed. That's the biggest hang up in the sport of boxing. It's the Wild Wild West and ain't no motherfucking structure. Motherfuckers do whatever they want to do. You be lucky if you get the two best guys in the ring in one division. You lucky as hell. We know it's going to be a Super Bowl every year. We know that for a fact. I ain't got to wish and pray and hope that I'm going to see the two best teams in the league play in February. I already know that's going to happen. It's a given. In boxing, you lucky if you get the two best motherfuckers in the ring in one division to fight each other. Let alone the two best fighters in the sport like Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. This shit crazy, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. How do y'all feel? This is a rhetorical question. I know how y'all feel about this shit. I know how y'all feel, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Explain to me, man. Let me know what's going on through y'all minds, man. What y'all thinking right now? How y'all feel about Terence Crawford cleverly evading and eluding Errol the True Spence Jr.? Said he walked in the ocean, said he was looking for Errol Spence whole time. Man, he didn't even go in the deep end. He done put his ankles in the water and cut the camera off and ran his ass right back on shore. Fronting and faking. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. How y'all feel about Terence Crawford fighting David Avenesian, a guy with 3 losses. Now, mind you, this Terence Crawford is on the brink of the biggest fight of his career. Errol the True Spence Jr. for Undisputed. How is this going to get you ready to fight a monster like that? How does David Avenesian get you ready for Errol Spence? You fighting a guy with 3 losses who done lost to a guy that Errol Spence beat and then lost to a guy that you beat. This shit crazy, man. Contender regime, boxing, I'll holler at y'all boys, man.